Have you ever sat down to relax and still felt like you should be doing more? Like even your rest needs to be justified. And that thought shows up so casually that you start believing something must be wrong with you. You could be doing absolutely nothing wrong and still feel like you're wasting your life. No one said anything, nothing happened, yet somehow you're stressed. That voice in your head goes like, you should be doing something else right now. That's not motivation. That's your inner critic pretending to be helpful. But what if that voice isn't the truth about you? What if it's something you just learn to live with? Alright, before we go any further, get yourself a cup of coffee, tea, or anything you like. Think of this like sitting with a friend and talking about the stuff you usually keep in your head. Okay, let's be honest. Most of our lives are not dramatic or like any Bollywood movie. They are repetitive. Wake up, check your phone, scroll a little too long, promise yourself you will do better tomorrow. And in that kind of life, your brain gets bored. So it creates pressure. That's when the inner critic shows up. Not because something is wrong, but because your mind hates stillness. You know that khali dimag Satan ka ghar? Well, that Satan is your inner critic. Ever noticed you open Instagram for 2 minutes and suddenly see someone your age buying a house, someone younger than you giving life advice, someone doing exactly what you thought you would be doing by now, and your brain goes, interesting, let's ruin the rest of the day. Or this one, you finally sit down to relax. Netflix is on, phone is down, life is quiet, and suddenly your mind says, shouldn't you be doing something productive? Productive what? Nobody knows. But now you are stressed and not relaxing properly. My inner critic acts like an unpaid manager with zero leadership skills and very strong opinions. It doesn't offer solutions, it only sends reminders. Others are ahead. You wasted time. You should have known better. No action plan, just vibes. Bad ones. Here's the trap. We confuse anxiety with ambition. If your inner voice is harsh, we assume it means you care. If you're constantly dissatisfied, we assume it means you're driven. But let me say this clearly. Caring about your life and constantly attacking yourself are not the same thing. One builds you, the other keeps you alert but tired. Let me put it this way. Your inner critic works exactly like that one voice in your head during exams. You remember this? You're writing the paper, you know the answers, everything is going fine, and suddenly your brain goes, what if you mess this up? Nothing changed. The paper didn't get harder. You didn't forget anything. But now your hands are sweaty and you're rereading the same questions 5 times. That's the inner critic. Not helping, just creating pressure when none was needed. The day my inner critic went quiet wasn't dramatic at all. I wasn't failing. I wasn't succeeding either. I was just tired. The kind of tired sleep doesn't fix. I remember thinking, I'm doing okay, so why do I feel like I'm running late for life? That question hit differently. Because if nothing is wrong, why am I constantly tense? Here's what I understood that day. The inner critic is not designed to help you live better. It's designed to prevent embarrassment, avoid regret, minimize risk. Basically, it's a fear system. It doesn't care about happiness. It cares about control. That's why it's loud during rest and quiet during chaos. So, why does it sound so convincing? Because it uses facts out of context. Yes, others are ahead. Yes, time is passing. Yes, you could do more. All technically true. But incomplete truths can still hurt you. Notice this: your inner critic never says, "Hey, you have improved." It only updates the gap. No matter where you are, it moves the finish line. That's not motivation. That's a system designed to keep you chasing approval that never arrives. I didn't silence the voice. I stopped treating it like a fact checker. When it said, "You should be better by now," I asked, "Better according to what?" When it said, "You're behind," I asked, "Behind whom? And on whose map?" Not fighting it, just questioning it. That alone reduced its power. Turns out, the inner critic is very confident until you ask follow-up questions. Then it suddenly has nothing useful to say. Progress doesn't come from shouting at yourself. It comes from clarity instead of pressure, consistency instead of intensity, treating rest as maintenance, not reward. You don't yell at your phone for needing to be charged, but somehow we do that to ourselves. If you relate to this, you're not weak. You're probably just self aware without enough self compassion. You have learned to survive by staying alert. Now you're learning to live by letting go. That transition feels uncomfortable. Quiet feels suspicious at first. The day my inner critic went quiet, nothing magical happened. My problems didn't disappear. My goals didn't suddenly get easier. But my mind stopped fighting me during moments of rest. And that alone changed everything. I'm genuinely curious. When does your inner critic get the loudest? Is it late at night? On rest days? Or right after you have done something you should feel proud of? If any part of this felt familiar, share it in the comments. Not a perfect answer, just a real one. And if you ever feel like you have more to say than a comment box can hold, you can always write to me. The email is in the description. I read those, and sometimes those stories become future conversations here. And if you want more videos like this, quiet, honest, no pretending, subscribe, because here your story matters.